All right, welcome to another episode of With the Fox. This is a very special episode of With the Fox as we are sitting with three of my business partners, Phillip Rand out of Brisbane and our National Projects Director, Dylan Francis, Big DF, the King of the Northside, and David Murray, who was my very first ever business partner outside of Victoria in Australia. So welcome to the podcast, boys. Thanks for having us. We're just going to unpack a little bit about your careers and what it's been like, and some lessons for people that I think will take a lot of value out of knowing your stories, your styles, and where you see yourselves going. So we might start with David Murray. How did you get into the industry for starters? How long have you been in it? Because what are you now? You're 28?
28.
Yep.
8 years in the industry. I had 3 years, then took a sabbatical, was a part of a team and thought maybe this isn't for me. And then got back into the industry, been selling on my own for 4 years.
For 4 years. So literally standalone agent for 4 years.
Standalone agent 4 years.
And I remember Ryan Smith, our business partner, he was the one that reached out and said, I'd love to open WHITEFOX in WA, which was off the cards for me. You were never involved at that stage. Another guy was, who ended up falling off the bandwagon. Yeah. And talk us through our first interaction after this meeting, which is still a pretty good laugh.
Yeah, so Ryan wasn't like a big WhiteFox or Marty fan. He just appreciated, I think, what you had done in the industry and was looking for, a journey or a chapter to maybe follow. And he knew I was a pretty big WhiteFox and Marty fan. So,
well, you loved Gavin Rubinstein.
Yeah.
Who were the family that you were watching?
You and Gaff. You and Gaff for me were just like the epitome of Australian real estate. I remember watching the videos in like 2017, like in my first job in real estate. Chinos, polo, and loafers.
I feel like I've watched all these same videos as well.
Yeah. And so Ryan said, hey, got a meeting at the golf club. It's a bit hush-hush. Had a FaceTime with Marty. As soon as he said he had a FaceTime with you, it was like, fuck off. Like, I just didn't believe him. Why would he want to have a FaceTime with you? Why do you want to have a FaceTime with us? Went to the golf club. Was like really nervous. They say like you're about to meet someone you really look up to, and it can go on in two ways. Jumped on screen. No one had told you that I was going to be on that FaceTime. No one had told you that another bloke was going to be on that FaceTime. And I could just see straight away, in true you fashion, it was like, hang on. Like, we're having a pretty confidential discussion here. Like, this is my time and this is like my life. Why are two people on this call that I wasn't briefed on? And you said, hey, hang on. You said, sorry, what's your name? And I said, David Murray. You said, David, I'll get you to leave the FaceTime, but tell me a little bit about yourself. So I told him a little bit about myself, and he said, cool, we'll connect later. And I remember thinking, oh, okay. Got out of the car, sat, waited for Ryan, and then I got home and you FaceTimed me, and we caught up
And we got along. But because the meeting was quite confidential, it's quite commercial, I had no idea who you were. I was like, nah, not appropriate, not at this juncture, but straight away I was like, this guy's a dude, great energy, and you just had a nice humble story.
I remember one of the first things that you said to me, you said, what do you want to do? And I said, I want to write $2 million in fees in the next 3 years. And you said, what about if you can write $2 million in fees and grow a business and have a team around you and offices?
And in a nutshell, you've just had your record month where the team's written over 1.1 million. And collectively, you guys are overseeing a little over 20 million in GCI. And you've been in the business now for 18 months. We're on pretty much 12 months. We've just celebrated 12 months. And, before WhiteFox, you guys were real estate agents in your own firms. You had a directorship. You had a directorship. You were a staff member. But if we had sat down 18 months ago as four relatively random people and said that collectively we'll be overseeing $20 million worth of fees and teaching agents how to be great agents and marketing, would you believe it?
Absolutely not. No way. It's been wild.
It's
I think the growth like we've all had collectively in the last 12, 18 months, I think you can all agree, has just been like unbelievable. Yeah.
Well, the thing is we've been able to grow the brand based on your performance in the field, because people look up to people that are doing well and that are, putting out content that is not only great for the client, but also engaging for yourselves. I get so many people sending me Dylan's videos. The projects that you're representing, Phil, are some of the best projects in the country. This is the first time we've ever sat down on camera.
First time.
You don't get on it.
Too. No, get on the camera.
Is this your first ever podcast?
My podcast virginity gone.
Oh, here we go. What a way to
What a way to start. Yeah, exactly.
So talk us through like how we connected.
We probably tic-tac back and forth on Instagram for a little while, didn't we? And you reached out. And I remember getting a message from you and put it to my partner, Jess. And she was like, holy shit, Marty Fox just messaged you.
Off the back of Rob Gray singing your praises.
That's right. So I used to go to the gym with Rob and I used to look up to him as a developer, as Gray, and just be adamant that I wanted to list one of his projects one day. And I would tap him on the shoulder every week. I'd say, Rob, let's do some business. And he would always say, no. And it got to a point where I was so
But why was he saying no?
He felt like the brand at the time that I was with wasn't in line with the type of stock that he was representing. So the big thing for us was like, okay, trying to figure out how we can get brand alignment with someone like a Rob Gray to underpin what we do to then basically support us in what we were trying to do. So anyway, long story short, I got a message from Jess. I'm nervous, hey?
That's good.
I'm so nervous. I've never been nervous on a podcast.
Because you've never done it.
Yeah, exactly. But basically got a message from Marty and basically it was
But isn't it weird though? Like you're nervous, but yet you're the biggest writer creating this company.
It's crazy.
You know, and that's what I love about this group of people. It's like we're up when you're performing at the top of your game, you think that you're never going to get that feeling of being nervous again. And that's where I talk about that's where the growth is.
I was listening to this yesterday and it was like, if you're going to grow it, you need to have that churn in your stomach.
Yeah.
I think that's something that I've had more times this year than I've ever had in my career in the last 10, 12 years.
And that's because you're being pushed, you're being tested, you're being thrown into situations that, again...
Yeah, uncomfortable with.
You're uncomfortable with.
Exactly.
But yet, you know, what you're doing personally and how you're growing your business in Brisbane is unheard of.
Mm.
You know,
Top of your game and you're humble.
Thank you.
Anyway, so back to the story.
No, back to the story. Like, I think the one thing that you probably never realised is that we would sit in a sales meeting every Tuesday and I would look at like what has White Fox done from a marketing standpoint, and we would idolise. I would look at your videos since 2016, 2017, see what has White Fox done as a brand, what are they doing differently to stand out. And it was clear it was the marketing, it was all the beautiful photos and the videos, and I guess the tone of voice that no one else was out there doing what White Fox was doing as a brand. And it was something that really like sticks with you because everyone else does the same shit basically. So long story short, I would sit there every Tuesday and look at this White Fox messaging out there in the market. And then all of a sudden I got a message from Marty Fox saying, hey, I'm in Brisbane. Did you want to catch up for, I think it was dinner or coffee or something like that.
Dinner with me and Charlotte.
Dinner with you and Charlotte, that's right. And I rolled up. I was fucking so nervous. I remember putting my suit on. I did my hair.
It was like his wedding day.
Yeah, I remember rolling up squeaky clean. I think I even polished my shoes or something like that. And I rolled up and Marty said, let's have, I think it was a cocktail at the Carlisle. That's what it was. And we rolled up there and there was me like trying to answer all these questions correctly. And then you just had this like amazing calming presence after about 10 minutes of getting to know each other. And then I could kind of like sit back and relax and get to know you. And we started to unpack a lot of like similarities about what I was needing at that point in time, like what you felt like the vision for whether it was Queensland or Brisbane was. And we hit it off. We had a great time, didn't we?
It was the best. It was a great laugh. And you had this, it was funny. It's like you had this... You were so different from everyone else that I'd met in real estate. Like you were quite militant, but yet you were quite boyish, but then you were really wise and experienced. Like you had these three elements that...
Three different like personality traits, right?
Yeah, because it was like you seemed young, but you weren't. You were incredibly experienced, nearly a decade in the game, had sold some of the best properties in Brisbane and had the full admiration of the best developer. So it was quite a unique combination of things.
Do you remember his birthday dinner?
Taylor's birthday dinner.
Yeah, and that I met you.
Oh, at the Chair restaurant? Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And you were like, you're 28, 29.
I would have been 29 at the time.
So you're 30 now.
I'm 30 now, yeah.
And I remember you were like, hey, you told me about his stock that you were selling. You told me how much stock you sold in 6 weeks, and I didn't even know who you were.
That's right.
And I was like, this is like one of the biggest writers in Australia.
It was like $108 million in 6 weeks.
Well, to put it into perspective, like currently you've got exclusively listed just over $1.3 billion worth of stock, which you're overseeing, which is wild. So when you think about the level that you're running at, it's like I've always said, you've got the potential to be the biggest writer in Australia.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that person with that amount of stock.
Yeah.
Crazy cool.
I think we're fortunate. Like a lot of what we do is obviously these beautiful big developments, and they are high value, right? Obviously, what's happened recently is the construction pricing, the cost to actually build and acquire these sites and build these developments has gone through the nose. So these developments are continuing to, I guess, be more and more expensive to deliver, which obviously is reflective in our sort of project revenues as well.
And we're going to unpack some of the personality traits and some of the things that you do today. Dylan and I, we've obviously had our first podcast, very early days. It's now a year in. We're 24 hours out from launching your second office. Dave has just launched his second office, which is an incredible launch in Applecross. From your perspective, you've gone from being a high performer, you hadn't sold stock over $3 million at your previous agency. You've now sold multiple listings over 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 million now with WHITEFOX Northside. How have you grown since the last podcast? What have you seen? And what's it been like now leading an incredibly dialed-in group of agents? What's the changes been for you personally?
It's just crazy to see that we're now just over 12 months into our first office at Carlton WhiteFox and now launching office 2. So,
And how old are you?
32.
So 32, 30,
28.
and 28.
Crazy for young Larrikins.
It's the young energy.
It is.
It's a very different cat.
It is. And I think the first podcast we did, I think it might have been 6 months ago now. I think we're just finding our feet at WhiteFox Northside. We had 7 or 8 staff. I think we're up to 12 or 13 now, with multiple more on the horizon with Office 2 launching tomorrow. But just the way I've seen the team grow over the last 6 months in particular has been incredible. And look, I'd like to put my hand up and say that I'm driving the business quite well myself, and I feel like my leadership skills have certainly increased and I've got better as each week's gone on. Like the responsibility from being at a different agency and focusing on your own stuff, not necessarily the broader team, and, you know, being a director of a company and actually, you know, the trajectory of everyone else in your office being on your shoulders. Like it's a very different thing to manage.
It's a responsibility that makes you step up.
It does. You have to, like, I've never been busier with multiple other things going on in life. And I'm just like, you know what? I'm content. I'm loving what's happening. But there's so much more growth, I think, in the team and the business. And, you know, just with Office 2 coming, the way the team has got together and the culture of the office and how excited they all are to be turning up to work every day and, you know, be around, you know, great agents and great team members, and they're all putting their hands up and, you know, looking for new recruits to come over into the business as well. So the more that we're connecting and getting together, it's the culture's growing.
But the team's able to see in all 3 offices that you're leading from the front. You're the 3 biggest writers in the company, nationally and internationally. So for that, when you're a younger agent, even an older agent coming into business, so you've just hired a guy in his 50s.
Yep.
It's about...
I've got 2 employees over the age of 50 with us, which is, I love it. Like,
well, that's the thing. A lot of people think, I'll just go off the phone call from, you know, the team that we're hopefully launching WhiteFox Bar and Baby. And they said, you know, I love the younger energy. And I said, you do realise that there's actually quite a few people in his business that are over the age of 50.
Yeah.
And, you know, energy isn't age.
It's not, is it? And energy in balance as well, right? Like you need everyone who's got a similar sort of wavelength. I think that's something that we see in WhiteFox collectively, like as a group across 100+ staff, is everyone's got that really unique energy game to them, whether they're 25 or whether they're 55. Like everyone has that same unique energy.
I've always thought that, you know, energy is a frequency. So like, you know, right now there'll be a station playing a tune. If you turn that dial into that frequency, we'll all hear the same song. At WhiteFox, with our collective hiring policy, with our shared systems, with the way in which we run our meetings collectively together, like the, you know, SD meeting that we do once a month, our weekly catch-ups and so forth. If we are on the same frequency, it doesn't matter what age you are, where you've come from, what your background is, what nationality, all of it means nothing as long as we're on that same tune. We get the same rewards and the same benefits. So,
Which is why I always say to like Art, put your wins into the group chat.
Yeah.
Because then when my energy's a bit down and I see these two, like just put thumper after thumper into the group chat over the space of a week, I'm then like, okay, let's go.
It fires you up, hey.
Yeah, but it's like
I love the
we've got our own little chat together. Yeah, that's it. It's just cool.
What you three do?
We've been a little chat, yeah.
Likes each other. How we going this month? What are the wins? What are the
The highs and lows as well. So, you know, I think like when you sold like your Travancore deal at 8.8 million or whatever it was, everyone was fired up for deal on that. And when you were having a bit of a flat month last week or like last month, whenever it was, you reached out, and we're just trying to help each other crack code and I guess support each other as well.
I think what we've all learned that is if you're ever flat, it's very, very short.
Yeah, absolutely.
It
can change in a day.
Oh, I mean, some of the phone calls from you early on. And what you do find is that first 12 months in business is actually the hardest.
Yeah.
But look at what's been able to be achieved. So imagine where things are at 3 and 5 years ahead. So you're 3 very different cats. As I've said multiple times, you're a real chiller, softly spoken, always present, incredibly patient. There's things about you that make you uniquely you, and I want to talk about those. You know, you then look at Phil, so dialed in, unbelievably quick, works like a militant like, and then Dill, who's just this ball of charismatic energy, rolls in loud, fist pumps, head butts, whatever it is. You're right. So you've proven that your own personality is what works.
Yeah, 100%.
And the message to a lot of agents and leaders is that you have to be.
You gotta be yourself, yeah.
Absolutely.
You gotta be authentic to like your personality, because no one can do what you do if you do it yourself. Yeah, like, you know, I can't do what Dill does. I can't do what Muzz does.
So what do you think, you know, that you do that has culminated in you being successful so far in your career?
I think it stems from like a genuine love of not just the industry, the job, wanting to do well, and actually like caring about what we do. I think that for me is probably where it comes from.
But why do you care about what you do? Like what's given you that ability to dial in and drive what it is that you're doing? And you know, we caught up last week in the office, and you know, you sort of uncovered how you became dialed in. Can you unpack just
that was a funny story, right?
It was pretty funny.
We're talking about
Don't worry
like
about surprise.
really pivotal moments in our lives. And I remember for me, I don't know if you boys know this, but I was quite a chubby child. So I was like, but when I was 10 to 14, I was a fat little kid, and I was never like the cool kid in school. I remember thinking, if I'm ever going to make something, is he cool now? So, if I'm ever going to make something myself or have a good job or get girls, because you know when you did your 14, you're starting to figure out, oh, am I going to date this, that, whatever. But I remember thinking, fuck, I'm never going to get a girlfriend if I'm fat. And that was like legit where my head went. And I'm like, I can do something about this. So I actually ran down to, I think it was like the dog park, and I was running laps at the dog park. I remember setting out and I was like, okay, day 1, I'll do 1 lap. Day 2, I'll do 2 laps. And I'd keep pushing. And after about 6 weeks, I started to like notice a bit of a difference. It was easier. I was more confident. And that for me at like 14 was like the click moment where I was like, you know what? If I actually apply myself to something, whether it's running laps of a park or a dog park and seeing results, that for me was like, okay, if I apply myself to this, whether it's career or fitness, I'm the one who's responsible for doing that. I'm the one who can basically get me from A to B and to where I want to go. So I think to answer your question, that for me is probably like the inner candle being lit, I guess, being able to be responsible for my own direction, my own decisions.
But then how do you overlap that into being a leader? Because that was for yourself. What have you learned in the last 12 months of running a business? Like, you haven't run a business before.
Yeah.
You've obviously got, you know, the assistance and mentorship of myself and the rest of the team. But what are some of the lessons that you've learned in the last 12 months?
I think the biggest lesson is to always lead by example and always lead from the front and listen. So for me, again, having never run a business, to lean on people like yourself, to lean on people like Rob, obviously in the partnership. I think you don't know what you don't know, right? So I think if you've got these people in and around you in your network, whether it's friends or family, you need to lean on that and leverage that so that you can then have the best output for yourself and your team as you physically can.
And what about you, Dill? Like, where was your turning point, you know, for someone that's come out of a very big organisation as the, you know, the third, you know, biggest income earner to now being, you know, the second biggest rider in the company? How have you done that? And what was your turning point?
I think turning point for me, which we met multiple times before we said yes to joining here. I think my own responsibility of having my own little office and brand and team, that's always been my driving, firing my belly that I've been captive.
But I love how you say that, when you say I've got my own brand and team. Yeah. And I think a lot of people have had this trepidation with coming into WhiteFox because they don't feel it's their brand. I think to myself,
absolutely.
What do you mean? Like, you look at WhiteFox as yours.
Yeah. Well, we're business partners, but whatever I want to do Northside, I could do without you really questioning, right? And you boys and you boys, Brisbane and Perth, like, Marty's our business partner, but whatever we want to do, we can do without no red tape, which is pretty weird.
Pretty rare too, right?
I'm like, you know what?
Well, it's rare for a brand that is so consistent because ultimately I love brand. When it comes to day to day, that's where a lot of you guys felt choked up in previous companies because they try to micromanage. But when you've got the right people, it doesn't have to be like that.
No. So, having that opportunity and confidence in you and the brand to actually run my own business and build my own team around me was super cool. And, I wake up every morning so excited to get back to work. And, even though we're doing 13, 14, 15, 16-hour days, like it's non-stop. The excitement to wake up each day thinking, where can I take this business and brand and how can I grow this business further? We've spoken about our business and where we want to go over the next 24, 48 months, which is exciting. And, just the opportunity that there's never a time where Marty said, hey, I don't think that's right. Or, maybe we don't do that. It's like, let's fucking do it. Which is great to have a partner like that that's on board with growth.
You need someone to push you and back you into your corner, then also give you a kick.
Yeah, well, versus holding you back. Yeah, you can't do that,
But what I've loved is that I do push Phil unbelievably hard. Like how I pushed Lana. Like Lana will say, I'm like her second dad. Like no one can crack Lana like her dad other than me.
Yeah.
And I did the same to you. Yeah. But where you guys are so unique and different is that you don't push back because you know that you're being pushed
for a good reason.
For a really good reason.
In the right way. Yeah.
Sometimes I see the fear, but it's not fear for not thinking that you can do it. It's fear of like, fuck, it's actually going to happen.
Yeah.
And that's it's like an excitement fear. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The churning in your tummy, right?
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Growth fear, and it's like, all right, well, we know we're going in the right direction here. So, and that was the driving factor for me, just, the growth and the team and the opportunity. And I just can't wait to see where this goes over the next 12 to 24 months.
And what about you, Muzz? You've got the biggest team in the company.
Yeah.
You've got about 25 agents that are being led. What are some of the lessons and some of the things that you think you've added to your tool belt in that 12 months?
I think you definitely become a better listing agent when you own part of the business. I think when you walk into someone's home and you're able to say, like, this is also my business, they have an extreme amount of confidence in their willingness to give you the keys to their asset.
So the credibility just goes through.
Credibility goes through the roof. As soon as you're able to say, I'm a business owner, I think people just see that and you're 2 steps ahead of the next agent. I think we were talking about it before, like everyone else's wins become your win. So, if someone lists a big thumper that their previous company or their previous brand, they would have never had the confidence to do, you take that as your win. And then that momentum just becomes infectious.
Like, even if it's one of the staff members who lists their first property, how exciting is that?
So good.
Or when they get their first sale, it's
like it's it.
That was amazing yesterday or the day before. First listing. Yeah, it's like totally. It's so cool.
Yeah.
But how often do you speak about, because I know that some of these bigger franchise brands, they say that they're connected, but there's a few legal implications as to why they're not connected, whether it be territories and privacy of data and so forth.
They're absolutely not connected.
Yeah. Well, I know that they're not connected. And, you genuinely have gone into listings where you've lent on other offices, spoken about their stock, even had other sales directors get on the phone and help you close listings. Like how important has that been?
Well, I remember in the first 6 months trying to wrap my head around like going into a higher price point, I'd face Lana should be available. Ever since obviously the partnership with you guys in Grail.
Yeah, it's been a big one.
Credibility that's brought us with local Perth developers. Good old Perth's always a couple of years behind per country. And I think, when a builder or a concept is being thought of in WA, to have the backing of WHITEFOX and the credibility of the developers that you guys work with over in the eastern states has given us just like a leg up.
Oh, and particularly when the likes of, James Packer and their boards approve us and the developers that they're working with. So it's a real knock-on effect.
Yeah. Building to answer your question though about the learnings, I think you also realize like you actually have an influence on your colleagues' like path, and you start to realize that if a colleague FaceTimes you or calls you, it's like a client FaceTiming you.
Yeah, but take it seriously. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I was going to say this about the three of you and highlight the busiest people in the company are also the most available.
100%.
Yeah.
If I send you a text and you're very good, if you're like, hey bro, I can't answer this right now, let's FaceTime tomorrow for 5 minutes. But you'll get
You'll always make time.
But half of the messages that he sends me are either like girls that he's dated, classic BMWs.
He's looking at whether it's
I'd love to see your Instagram algorithm. Hey,
Hey, bro, this 3 Series is available in Sydney. Can you get your mechanic to look at it? And I'm like, dude, first of all, you know I live in Melbourne.
yeah, rock rank spot.
And, like, it's 11 o'clock at night. Like, you're just waking me up.
2 hour delay for a particular. He's fine, yeah.
still reply.
Writes millions of dollars in fees, but is sleeping on Taylor at my brother's couch at the moment. Like, go fucking stay at a luxury hotel. Won't do it.
Don't you love us?
It's the best.
So it's all about the experience, though, right?
I just want to hang out with people.
But that's right. Like being available and the speed that you need to have to perform extremely well. Like it's not fucking made up.
Is speed our secret?
Absolutely is.
100%. I think someone said the other day, like whether it was you or someone else, but speed equals value. You know, I think that's something that we run our business on, like, you know, religiously. Like, I think if you're not the first person, whether it's responding to an inquiry or to a colleague or to a staff member, I think that's where you're losing business, or there's a gap there. So I think speed equals value for us is a massive one.
What's been the uplift? You know, when I'm, you know, speaking to people about the business and I say, oh, you know, how do you benefit, you know, somebody coming into the business? I always talk about marketing. I talk about reach and eyeballs and making sure that people's careers can be amplified with WhiteFox. But then there's a true increase in the level of stock that you represent.
Yeah.
So very quickly, you know, what was your uplift? What were you selling? What was the average price point versus now? If we can just touch on that between the three.
Totally. Very quickly, average sale price pre-WhiteFox was like 700 grand. Now it's just shy of 1.2. And yes, Perth's had a bit of an increase in price, but not to that dramatic level. And then I think just people reaching out to us now, like people actually contacting us. You know, we're very good when we get given the opportunity to secure the business, but we don't have to necessarily go and look for the business as frequently as what I used to at my
In 18 months as a new brand.
Yeah.
And it sounds like a very broad thing to say, but I feel like I sit here and say, like, the number of doors that get opened.
Yeah.
Obviously, everyone's very capable of their job, and I think the people that we obviously interact with are all obviously very good operators in their own right, but it's about, I guess, opening that next set or that next layer of doors, or, you know, for us to run more business.
It's a good thing for us as well. When you're a high performer, you become that attraction agent.
Correct.
And when you're that attraction agent, you've got a brand that amplifies you. It makes it so much easier again.
Yeah, it's like a protein.
It's just like a method.
Yeah.
And what about you, Phil? Your average sale price for the last sort of 12 months?
Average sale price before coming, not quite. Before coming, we was just under the 3 million mark. Now sitting at 5.6. Oh,
Your average sale price is 5.6 mil.
yep. Wild, hey. It's crazy. But again, like, credit to some of the stock that we do. And obviously, Brisbane market's had a really good run in the last sort of 12, 18 months as well. But yeah, 5.6.
But you've created that, and then you've aligned with a brand that's allowed you to get, like, I didn't know who you were when I first met you, and now there's not many people in Australia in real estate that wouldn't know Phil Rand because of what the brand and I think the engagement's done.
Has helped amplify 100%, yeah.
And what about yourself? What were you sort of...
Average sale price was just over $1 million, now between 1.7, 1.8. Higher sale price 2.75 previous, now just under 13, and multiple above 6, 8, 10. You know, in that Essendon, Mooney Ponds.
What's your highest sale price?
Just under 13.
Yep, just under 13.
Yep.
Yours is just under 22.
We just did a deal last
22.1.
week for 22,050,000.
Wild. How much yours at the moment?
With Gizzo, 5.2 mil.
Yeah.
And these are properties that we wouldn't have sold at the previous brands. Right? Never had an opportunity to get there. It's still the same marketplace. We never had an opportunity. We weren't called into these.
And you're still the same operator, right?
Yeah, it's the same person. A little bit better looking.
Must be the Botox. It's a 40. The Botox and the haircut.
Mate, religious on the Botox, religious on the haircut.
Wow, you have to.
It's fucking...
The structure.
Insane.
The structure, yeah. Just the opportunity now. Just like we were not on the shopping list 12 months ago, and now you're on the shopping list, and you just got to win it now.
How many times did you nearly quit real estate?
I did quit real estate. I left the industry for a year and a half.
And why did you quit? And what brought you back?
Didn't have self-confidence. The guy I worked for was like the number one writer in WA and very, very good at being an agent, but wasn't very good at being a leader. And I left.
What were some things maybe said to you that stuck with you that made you go, yeah, no, I'm leaving?
Lack of appreciation, probably. like not, you spoke very well about these boys needing to be pushed, but then with me that I like a little bit of rope.
Well, I've actually never really pushed you.
Yeah.
It's just not your style.
I don't like being micromanaged, but then that he's the kind of person that the more because he's an athlete, so the more that you give him a kick up the ass, the more that he's going to run. Where I'll probably do the opposite. I'll
wait.
Yeah. So,
He's gone.
Let him do his thing.
but I think it's just
I don't even call you Muzz.
Well, it's just me annoying you. It's just self-belief. Someone sat me down and said, "Do you want to come be my EA?" And I thought, "Fuck no, I'll run rings around you." And then I got back into the industry. So, yeah.
What made you build that self-belief back up?
Just probably maturity. Just probably going through early 20s, realizing that you actually do have. I think we've all individually got a gift, but the commonality that we all have is that we're very good at just engaging with people and creating relationship.
What do you love about this industry?
What do I love about this industry? Most people, their home is their biggest financial asset in Perth anyway, with my clientele, and you're getting the opportunity to represent their biggest financial asset. So like when you feel a little bit down or a little bit out or maybe a little bit overwhelmed, you then take a step back and go, it's actually a pretty fucking big privilege to be able to represent multiple homes.
Oh, you're making such a difference at that part of their life as well, right?
Where people had their first child, where people maybe lost their parent, their partner. Like, it's a huge emotional journey. And I think I said to I said to our team the other day, speed wins, and it's the biggest skill set you can have or the biggest tool in your kit. And then I said after that, I think it's empathy. Like, if you can be empathetic and quick, and then with the brain.
Well, I mean, think about that. That's Lana Sanders.
Yeah.
Super high EQ and lightning quick.
Yeah,
it's
super dialed in.
Yeah. What about you? Did you have moments where you thought, I mean, again, a guy that's got an average sale price of mid-5s.
Fuck, I think we've all had moments, haven't we?
Did you feel like tapping out and just saying fuck it?
Oh, look, there's definitely been moments where I've been out in the bottom of the shower going, fuck, it's been a tough day. It's been a tough week.
Sitting in the shower?
Oh, yeah. Has no one had a come to it? Yeah, always. Look, there's definitely been times where it's been like a proper grind and you're sitting there going, fuck, like, is this worth it? And I think...
Mate, you haven't had that maybe only like 2 months ago.
Yeah, it was on FaceTime to you.
You FaceTime me and you were broken.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking to myself, fuck, this guy has a very financially healthy business.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yet he was broken, which proves it. It's not
financial. Yeah, correct.
But you had a couple staff leave, and we've all had people leave Perth. I don't know how, but 18 months you've lost 2 people. So your retention is wild. How you're leading, and it also might be a lack of availability of brands that operate like us. WA. Totally. I see us not really having much competition, but certainly we feel it. I've gone through it time and time again with WHITEFOX, where it's like the tide in, the tide out, tide in. And it's hard seeing people leave. But what happens is as you grow, because you guys haven't done it for a long time, whose phone's that? Fuck. Always. Yeah. 9 o'clock. Linda?
She call you every day at 9 o'clock.
Oh, thereabouts.
It's lovely. Eddie's right.
But seeing people go is hard. But then what happens is you get very used to it, and you
recalibrate.
You recalibrate, and it allows the door to remain open for new people, new energy, and that can change everything in the space of 30, 60 days.
Oh, 100%. I mean, you look at where we were last month, right? And we have obviously 2, quite integral or original staff leave that had been there from the outset. And for me, I took that quite personally. Like, I think you guys know this, when you've got your business and you pour your heart and soul into it day to day, like, yes, you want to win financially. Yes, you want to do a good job, but you also want the people around you to do a good job as well. And I don't think you can help but feel that everyone else's success and input in that business is a direct reflection of what you're doing too. So I think when we had our 2 staff leave the other month, for me, I took that it was pretty heavy. And I know we spoke about it for a good couple of nights back and forward. And Marty said, look, trust the process. It's almost like trimming fat effectively. You'll get a little bigger, you'll trim it back up and you'll go again. And even to look at where we are as of start of this week, where we've got a few good irons in the fire with people that, we have been talking to for over 12 months who we feel like would be a really great addition to the team.
And those people probably, if they came in with the previous people still there,
it might be a fit.
Might not be the right fit.
And then
so you recalibrate
and had a huge month.
Oh, it's been amazing, yeah. And I know everybody... gets a bit excited about seeing Jordo do well. But for me, like seeing the success of someone who's come into the business at age 21, now riding, and he'll do over $500,000 a year
At 21.
At 21, where he was an assistant effectively, taking names at an open home, doing contracts.
Any other brand would have this 21-year-old, and they'd say, look, by the time you hit 30, we're gonna make you a business owner.
Plan for you.
We have plans for Jordo to become a business owner probably before he turns 24, 23.
I think what we don't have here is a glass ceiling on age.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing. And I've never had that, right? It's always been, all right, if you can back yourself and push yourself, the sky's the limit. You're never going to be umbrellaed. And I guess I run my business like that with the younger guys as well, is that just because they're 20 or they're 21, doesn't mean if they can't go and ride $1 million a year, like, they should be able to go and do that. If they can do the work and they can roll off and connect the dots and they can make $1 million a year, ride $1 million a year, then if they're 21, they should be able to do it.
Yeah. And I think why that's instilled in all of us as well is you were riding $3 million in your 20s. So firsthand.
I was riding $3 million in my 30s, but that was because in my 20s I was working in a really low value apartment market. So I was doing the volume, and that's when my switch sort of flicked, and I was like, okay, I'm 27, 28. I've got an average sale price of like 500-600. I can't list these bigger properties because the brand couldn't get me.
It, yeah.
How you couldn't list Rob Gray's stock
Correct, yeah.
was how I couldn't list big houses.
Yep.
So for me, and like now that I think about it, if I look at how hard it has been to build White Fox and the moments where you nearly go bankrupt, the moments where you think I can't get through, when you have a mass exodus of people, if you would actually look at it, you wouldn't start it. It's like having that little bit of naivety is actually a blessing.
Yeah, to push forward.
It allows you to push forward.
There's a lot of people that will not make that call because they're worried about implications.
Or they're hamstrung, or they're too tired, or...
I think you've got to make the call and actually go through it.
But now I think about the Jealous Craigs, the Marshall Whites, the Kane Burtons, the Ray Whites, all the big companies. And, when I opened in 2017, of course they laughed.
Yeah.
Look at this guy making noise. Look at this guy making videos. Look at this guy with his no socks on. No backing, never sold luxury stock, and he thinks he's going to compete with us. Well,
look where we are.
Like 8 years later, we're, in a very fortunate position that we're very thankful for, because when you stay true to your brand pillars, when you stay true to your story, when you don't bend under pressure, when you don't take money, when you don't sell out too soon, when you stick fat, when you stick by your mates, your family, your colleagues, and you don't become bitter. I've had more people leave this business than stay in this business, and yet never felt bitter, never felt upset about any of it. I think you need to be like that.
Yeah.
I think that's how you were able to get through your period 2 months ago, because I'd seen it. I knew.
And I think for credit to you as well, like you were coaching me through that. So that's the first time that I'd experienced that. And obviously Marty stepped in and said, no, like you're going to experience this. Like, ride it out for the next 2 weeks and other doors will open. And all of these things end up happening for a reason, right?
They really do happen. Yeah. And I think people say, like, who are your mentors? Like, look, I really don't have mentors, but I speak to old people a lot.
Yeah.
I always have. I'd always hang out with people in their 60s, their 50s, their 70s, and I'd ask.
Yeah. Well, yeah. You'd ask questions, right? You're like me. You're interested, right?
I'm super inquisitive.
He's there, stat it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you've done it your whole career. Why is that? Why can't I?
Absolutely. Like when we first sat down, like, why won't you join?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm about to go speak on stage and represent the company at this event. Okay, well, when that changes, please call me. And you had your little Gucci heels on that day. And you had your big coat. You had your big coat, your Gucci heels.
And it was my first time speaking in front of people as well, and that was nerve-wracking.
Was it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you have the same haircut?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was similar. Maybe a bit more to the side. Yeah. But
hey, just on the haircut, there is not another human being that has that haircut.
Do you get recognised for that?
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So it's like a Dylan Francis brand stamp.
Yes. And like, I've even had Charlotte be like, hey, do you think he's going to change it? I said, you don't change good brand.
No way, yeah.
And like, keep going.
And you changed the haircut from Friday to tonight for tomorrow.
We're going to launch a party tomorrow night, so we have a fresh haircut tonight.
Yeah.
5 days since the last cut. I probably don't need it, but anyway.
People make you feel though?
Oh, amazing. It's a routine, right? Yeah. Trim the beard, shave the hair.
People listening must be like, these four are dickheads. What the fucking idiots. Hey, I mean, what's crazy is where will we be when we're, mid-40s? I still think we're very far off our prime.
We're all young.
Sure.
We're all young.
Very young, very hungry, very driven, very hardworking, honest. Know how to put a deal together. Love people.
Have a bit of fun.
Have a bit of fun. Enjoy the sector. I think property is an incredible sector that's got a lot of moving parts. We all got together. It would have been about a month or two ago at my house, and it involved all the sales directors and managing directors, because we've got these tiers now, 1 to 7: sales associate, advisor negotiator, senior advisor negotiator, associate director, sales director, partner, managing director. And we had those top 3 tiers all get together, and we had a incredible coach come and spend 2 days with us.
Oh, the free dive guy.
The free dive guy,
Yeah.
Ant Williams, great man. And what is something that you took out of that 2 days with your colleagues at my house, learning different things about leadership? Ultimately, this is all about leadership. Not only do you have to lead yourself to do great things, when you achieve those great things, the next step, if you're that way inclined, is to how do you lead others to achieve great things? So it's always about the people around you. What's something that you can maybe share that was a really good takeaway from those 2 days?
Well, I was in South Africa at my cousin's wedding, but did you not make it?
He was in on that Ian.
But, hey, it must have been that from what the boys told me, Jahoman.
Good save, bro.
But from what the boys told me, they took away your vulnerability when the coach. There was a moment about leadership and just looking at different styles of communication. And one thing that Jacko and Ryan both took away from that, and they said that they really valued, was your vulnerability. Just to, it's like the person who talks at you and thinks they know the most in their room knows the least. Person who asks the most questions and listens, ends up with the most amount of knowledge. And that's one thing that you always practice.
Well, it's funny because most people think that I'm non-stop talking, which I am.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of questions and there's a lot of listening. There's a lot of listening. And if you don't know what someone wants, it's very hard to provide something for them.
And that's what I took away from it. I think, that session that we had with him, and to have the whole team together, like, we're running big offices, big teams, and we're listing more than anyone else in the business. So for us to take some time out and actually work on ourselves as leaders was so important.
Because you never make the time for it.
Yeah, and since then we had some one-on-one meetings with everyone in the office, and what I took away from it was, how can I become a better leader, but better at interacting, communicating with my staff?
Well, did you realise that all your staff had different drivers?
I did, but not until I sat with them and actually brought them all a diary and actually made them write down their goals on what they wanted to achieve, like I do religiously. But I made them write down what they want to achieve, what they're good at, what they're not good at. Where do they want to be in the next 12 months, or do they want to write? What's important to them? I dug a little bit deep, and it was super cool to see some of their responses. And I've got all their diaries in my drawer at the office, and I'll sit down with them and run back through that and touch on that. Look, we spoke about this 4 to 6 weeks ago. What have you done to, benefit yourself or progress yourself into that position, which is really cool. And just to understand, the card game and to put the 3 most important things to you in your life and what they are. And in the 3
Things that
really
really
don't
don't
like.
like.
And it was like, for me,
Well, some people were driven by money and some people weren't.
well, I'm driven. Some people like balance or in structure, and then other people like, I just want responsibility. I want to be creative,
Autonomy, whatever it
really
was.
cool to see the difference in what people want. And I sat back and think, okay, well, not everyone's the same, and how can I push Phil if he loves money, but if he doesn't love money, like, how can I help them grow as an individual, and what do I need to do outside of the listing and selling and support to drive them to the next thing?
I'd second that, to be honest. I think that was our biggest takeaway. And going back to what I said before, like, you don't know what you don't know. So, if we hadn't sat down with our staff and tried to figure out, okay, well, what drives this person? What drives that person? What's not important to that person? How do we tailor our approach and our structure to help that particular person shine? Might be completely different to what I'm going to do with, person number 2. So I think for us as a head unit and business owners, trying to understand what's best for that particular person, how do we tailor it to that to then help get the most out of them for them?
So look, collectively, you guys are overseeing, again, over $20 million worth of business annually, and you're only in the first phase of business ownership. That's going to grow. That's going to keep going, and you're collectively looking after 40 plus staff. is there such thing as work-life balance? Do you have work-life balance? Tell me what.
I love the saying work-life balance. No, I think it's about making sure that you've got time to still do the things that are important to you.
And what is important to you?
Oh, for me, for example, it's always staying on good routine, it's staying fit, staying healthy, and then still having the time for like family and friends. I think if you get to this position, I think we're all attest to it, but there's a lot of work that you do day in, day out that's very, very hard to say step away from. But you need to make the conscious effort to make the time, whether it's for yourself, your family, your partner, your friends, whatever it might be. So just having a bit of a, not a boundary or a line, but like when that time comes that you really do need to spend the afternoon with the missus or the dogs or whatever it might be, actually taking that time for yourself.
What about you, Dill?
I think I'm getting better at it. I think the last 5 years it's been work. Now I'm married and, looking to start a family and, growing an office and got properties and, I'm trying to book 4 to 5 holidays a year and book those in advance so I can look forward to something. And when I go hard and then there's something to look forward to. But I've moved away from Sunday opens. I've only done a few over the last 6 months. I used to do that religiously every Sunday. Now it's, I need my time with my wife and family. It's the only day I'll get off.
You're just doing private appointment sounds?
Yeah, just private. If I have to, otherwise the team is stepping up and doing those. As Marty said, like, if I can do it as one of the best performing agents and a director and leading a team, why can't you younger guys do it? And that's what we built our career on. Growing up was working Sundays. And
I worked every Sunday because I thought I could say to my vendors, I'm going to do, I'm going to do an extra, 33% more than the next guy because you know what? They'll open Wednesday and they'll open Saturday. I'm going to open Sunday too.
Yeah.
So
3 times versus twice.
3 times versus twice. I'm telling you now, over a month period, I'm going to meet more buyers.
Yeah. So that's
what about for you?
Oh, I don't know if work-life balance is...
And by the way, I hate work-life balance, but I've asked the question because a lot of people try and talk about it. And if I ever do a job interview and they say, what's the work-life balance? I pretty much say the door's that way.
Yeah.
But it's a question because where I'm trying to get it to is that you don't need to balance it when it's your life.
Correct. Yeah.
Like people have always said, when's it enough, or when will you stop, or is are you happy? I'm as happy as a pig in shit, but I'm only happy if I keep rolling and keep moving forward and keep. What's interesting is that you were the first to come into it, right? So you came into the business and you saw New Zealand, and you saw us at HQ. Are you not richer now having these colleagues in unbelievable markets doing unbelievable things that you can learn from and be inspired by?
Well, it's like you wanting to go global. It's like going global with Dubai, potentially London. What an inspiration for us, and what a feather in our cap to be able to lean on the fact that we're a global brand that specializes in luxury real estate. And you talk about work-life balance, whether it's Ryan. I wouldn't do this without Ryan, and I wouldn't be here without Ryan. But I mean, what an incredible leader. Someone that, recruits people, brings them into the business. Probably the main reason, in my opinion, why WHITEFOX Perth has retained so much staff. You've got Gizzo. If I need anything from Gizzo, he's there. You've got Connor Boyle. You've got all these leaders within the business that don't necessarily have a title.
Yeah, and that's what people don't realise. Like we attract people that are leaders in their own right.
Yeah.
And some of them are built for business ownership. Some are built for just building great families and having an amazing marriage and, being an amazing father. It's we've got all these like absolute OGs in our businesses that no one even knows. Like people that are watching wouldn't know who these people are because they're not big on social. They love life.
Yeah.
And
It's okay to be like that, though.
It's unreal. And that's why I think we're all so excited to get together, December the 4th when we do celebrate Christmas together, because we get to see these people that we admire, 120 of us.
All in one spot. Never happened.
One spot.
Giddy out.
Sharing genuinely the same brand journey, and you've all got a very similar experience because, again, this is the only company where your business partners are all sitting together. So you all get to see the same stuff.
I think the other thing that, I've always liked about it is like business should be enjoyable. It should be like dialed in, but it also should be casual as well. I think that's something that we and collectively, like from the top down, we'll go and have a sauna and we'll have a chat at 6:30 in the morning. No other corporate structured companies having meetings at 6:30 in the morning with the top off in a sauna.
Yeah,
right. Everyone's in their suit and tie, but taking a selfie. Yeah, exactly.
And this is the funny thing versus confidence and ego.
Yeah.
They will look at at the way in which we do things and go, oh, look at these fucking egotistical mate. It's like, no. The ego is not allowing you to take your shirt off and go have a fucking sauna and bring yourself down to the level of everyone around you and just connect.
It's being a normal human.
Yeah. Just chat. Yeah. Just listen, figure out what's going on. And that's always been the biggest issue with particular countries and tall poppy and, making judgments before getting to know people. I think that's where White Fox has really stood out in the industry, and the fact that we are the friendly luxury brand. Yeah, we will have high sale prices. Yes, we'll have great developments. But also, I'm pretty sure I just saw in the group chat a $250,000 micro loft listed.
Yeah.
And we all celebrated that for Shaney and Joseph Falso. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Doesn't matter.
not that I want to see it every day.
No, it's good to have diversity though, right? Yeah.
Well, no, because
that's a win for them.
it's a win for them.
I'd never heard the term micro loft before until yesterday.
Same. I liked it.
Yeah, they're selling is called Skyloft.
Yeah, right.
And there's micro loft.
Right.
So one's 2.4, one's 250.
A little bit smaller.
Yeah. So,
But the thing is that
but he's got a brand for it, which is cool, and that's why people liked it.
Yeah, exactly.
Skyloft. Yeah. And
I-
micro loft, and it's like, oh,
I-
talking point.
Yeah.
I just think that there's something really special and unique, and it won't give us any competition in the fact that we are extremely confident with a sprinkle of ego, but we're driven by being that friendly luxury brand.
And it's incredibly hard to replicate as well. Like all these other corporate brands and franchises, they've all got the same blueprint, whereas it's very, very hard to replicate what we've got here at White
Well,
Fox.
I had a conversation, and I think most of you that I haven't spoken to you yet, but these guys in Byron Bay, and I said, how's the week been? What's it been like speaking to the leaders within the business and so forth? And he said something that really stood out for me was talking to your brother, and I was like, oh, what was said? And he said, well, a lot, but
You tell them everything.
the fact that he said that when we open White Fox Byron, there isn't like a blueprint, like it is all uniquely created in the moment. And he just went, how is that possible for a business your size? And I think I pretty much just reiterated what Taylor said. It's well, everyone's unique, every location's different, and we've got to get in and get under the hood. Like with Sydney next week, my brother, myself, our marketing team, we're all flying into Sydney
3 to 4 days.
for 4 days
Unwrap it all.
to unwrap it all.
And then by the end, you're pretty much good to go.
And he said, I love the fact that I'm not being templated. And I think when you're not being templated, you feel valued.
It's like micromanaged.
You get empowered.
Red tape. Yeah.
Well, again, there's processes that we all do collectively that are the same, but yet you have to still remain an individual. And I think that's where people, got White Fox wrong from the beginning, where they thought it was Marty Fox. It's not Marty Fox Real Estate. It is White Fox. The vision was to build a brand that a consumer, a homeowner, will look at and go, I feel like my property will be elevated if I'm put forward in that type of manner, in that type of marketing. And then if we're bringing on people like yourselves that are very unique in your own rights, very fucking dialed in, quick, accurate, knowledgeable, and great leaders, then that trickles down to every facet of that campaign.
Absolutely.
And, I even had an interview yesterday in the office where people were trying to talk about our customer. And I was like, well, who do you think the customer is? And I said, oh, the vendor. And I said, no. I said, oh, sorry, the buyer. I said, no. They're like, well, we're confused. Well, like, who's the customer? A White Fox customer is genuinely our business partners and our agents. Because if we lead them properly, teach them properly, give them the tools that allows them to list great property and work with great people, the end result is that their property will be seen by more people. But first and foremost, as a company, our product is our people. And it's our people that then connect.
And I think you look at like real estate fundamentally is a people business, right? And I think you look at the heads in the company, all 120, 130 of us, everyone is so uniquely different and brings such a uniquely different thing to the business.
Anyway, boys, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you for flying in, Phil.
Thank you.
You've literally landed at midnight and you're in here.
Here we go. What are we
Tonight?
And, he's out tonight, but you're down here. There's a few of the other crew coming over from New Zealand to celebrate and get around Dill for the launch of White Fox Essendon.
Super excited.
Second Northside office. I love the North. And I just want to say thank you so much for for taking the brand and making it your own. It's an absolute pleasure to watch. I'm incredibly proud, and I just know for a fact that the next 3, 5, 10 years, under your leadership, the teams will see incredible growth, and the impact that you'll make to your own lives and your families' lives are going to be significant. And it's an absolute pleasure to be in business with you all. Thank you.
Same to you. Thank you.
Thank you, boys. That's another episode of With the Fox. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you soon.